Are you looking for a slower pace of life without all that hustle and bustle of the city? Today, I'm going to be reviewing Auburn, California, an area that's been expanding and has become a popular destination for families, business professionals, and even retirees. From beautiful foothills living surrounded by nature to affluent golf course living with country clubs, Auburn is just one of those hidden gems just outside the Sacramento region. And in this video, I'm going to break it all down for you. We're going to go over the location, some of the areas and neighborhoods that you should consider, also some of the shopping, some of the things to know about Auburn, and maybe even some things to consider before moving into a place like this. Hi, my name is Sam Galovi, and I'm your local real estate pro, helping families relocate here into the Sacramento region. This is what we specialize in and help people with on a weekly basis. If you're ever considering a move into Sacramento, you can always reach out to our team or consider subscribing right down below to stay up to date on our weekly content. Whether you're looking at new construction homes or just want to know where the best places are to live, make sure to subscribe as we release weekly content on our channel. All right, so to start off this video, let's talk a little bit about the lifestyle of what you can expect to live in a place like Auburn. It's really more slower pace, and I would say even a little bit more nature focused in an area like this. It truly is foothills living, so you are going to see a lot of different rolling hills, some mountain views, and of course, if you're lucky enough to see those beautiful Sierra Nevadas, just depending on where you're at. It's really a popular area to live in for people who want that rural living, who maybe even want that affluent living, and people who just kind of want that separation from the city, where it might take you a little bit longer to commute, but because of that, when you are on your drive home, you're going to be seeing some beautiful nature and probably even farms and large properties with acreage. It just has this slower pace of life in Auburn, California. You have a good mix of suburb living, also rural homes, but then also those high-end custom homes. So really there's a huge mix on types of properties and the types of living that you can achieve here in the area. Now, just to give you some examples of the type of living in Auburn, we have some family friends that recently moved up there and they bought a smaller home, but on 12 plus acres. Now, instead of living in the general Sacramento region, which they were accustomed to, they're living on acreage with their own animals. We're talking alpaca, sheep, donkeys, and all sorts of other animals, and also their own private little pond, and it seems like a little bit of an oasis. They also have some beautiful views from their property, but it really is almost like country living. Now, on the opposite end of that, we've also had some clients move into certain gated communities where there's country clubs, golf courses, and even community events, and you can get really intertwined in your community in an area like that. So if you are looking for a more interesting lifestyle versus just the regular suburbs in the Sacramento region, it might be an area that you may want to look into. All right, so let's talk a little bit about the location and where it is in proximity to the Sacramento region. So Auburn is really on the northeast side of the Sacramento region. Now, if you were to take Highway 80 going up from the Sacramento region, technically going east here, you'd be passing places like Rockland, Loomis, and then well up into Auburn area right here. Really about a 45-minute drive into central Auburn. And if you are going to be commuting to the Sacramento airport, it's also going to be running about 45 minutes more or less without traffic. Now let's take a little bit of a closer look into the actual Auburn area. You're going to see that Old Town or downtown Auburn, which a lot of people tend to talk about in their videos. You're going to be kind of in this region, so let's just call that the central Auburn region. Now, as you go kind of further north right here, we're going to take Highway 49 up, and this is going to be the North Auburn region right here. Now, we're going to be talking about some popular areas later on in this video that kind of go further even north up this way. But just so you know, Auburn is pretty expansive. So we're going to refer to this side as the North Auburn region. And then, of course, we're going to talk about some of the areas up here that you're really going to want to know about. And that leads me to my next point. Where are people wanting to move into, and what are the top areas to consider if you are going to be looking at Auburn? And I would say one of the more popular areas that we get asked about is going to be Lake of the Pines. Now, I know Lake of the Pines is going to be a little bit further outside the central Auburn region, but I did want to show it to you because many people ask about this special community. Now, Lake of the Pines is one of those gated neighborhoods that has security entrance, so it's going to be a little bit more private and exclusive. Now, there is a wider price range of homes in a neighborhood like this, but what makes it special is there's a private lake where you can go fishing, kayaking, hang out. There's a lot of trails and walkability, but there's also a beautiful private golf course in the neighborhood. And we've even had a few personal clients that have moved into the Lake of the Pines community, and they really love it. They say it's peaceful, quiet, very well taken care of. But it does have an HOA involved, so that's maybe something that you may want to consider in a neighborhood like this. Now, as you can see here on a map, this is looking at about 27 minutes or so with a little bit of traffic right now. So it is further up and outside the general central Auburn area. Now, this right here is from downtown Auburn, so Old Town Auburn, kind of going up to Lake of the Pines. And you can see going up Highway 49, it's definitely a lot more secluded. But because of that, you also have access to a lot of beautiful scenery and nature around you. And of course, the community itself is very exclusive and gated. So this is definitely something that I would consider if you're okay with a longer commute time. Now, one good thing about this community is that the homes are a little bit older, but you can have a wide range of pricing. You could start something more entry level, kind of like your first home in the area, or you can move well on up into more of a luxury home, maybe near the golf course or something that's more custom. So there is a wide range in that community. Now, moving on to something that's just a little ways over from there is going to be Dark Horse. Now, Dark Horse is also outside the general Auburn area, kind of on the outskirts of the area, but it's really well known for its prestigious golf course. And so this is going to be a beautiful area if you are looking for that golf course living, and if you are looking to get maybe something more semi-custom, custom type of home. Even now, some builders are coming in, buying very desirable lots and building beautiful custom homes. So if you are looking for something a little bit more luxury and affluent, over the $1 million price point, Dark Horse is going to be a great area to consider. Now, while we are on that topic of golf course living, I know it's become a more popular topic among some of our clients relocating into the Sacramento area and beyond. Some other areas that I would personally consider that are just as stunning would be Meadow Vista, and in particular, the Winchester Country Club. It's a beautiful, prestigious golf course with stunning multi-million-dollar homes all around there. So if you are looking for that country club living, there's definitely other options outside of Auburn, but are still pretty close. And if you go further north, you can go into the Alta Sierra area. So it is a little bit further up the hill, but you can also have access to the Alta Sierra Country Club with stunning real estate around there as well. And if you'd like to know more about these types of areas and neighborhoods that have this more affluent golf course living, let me know in the comments down below and maybe we'll just do a review on it. And some other areas in Auburn that I would look at would be kind of the southern Auburn region, where you can also have access to either the suburb living, but also find properties on acreage, and that would even have access to some trails. So that's a really nice feature there. Some other quick ones would be like the downtown Old Town area around there. If you're looking for that historic charm, that's a great area to land as well if you want that walkability to get to the downtown Auburn area. And of course, the last one would be the Christian Valley area. This one's gonna be a lot more secluded, large lots, a little bit more of rural lifestyle living. Now, these are just some of the areas that come to mind. Really, Auburn is so vast and there's so many opportunities for different types of properties out here. You may even want to consider some of those other locations I mentioned earlier in the videos, or maybe even some other areas just like Newcastle, Loomis, and possibly even Cool, California, just depending on what your needs are and the type of property you're looking for. All right, so let's talk about what to do in Auburn and why is it so loved with those outdoor enthusiasts. Well, I could tell you when I was growing up, Auburn was one of those places that if we had a free day and we wanted to go for a hike, it's usually driving up to Auburn from the Sacramento region. The scenery definitely changes. You get a lot more hills, mountain views, and of course, just beautiful nature all around you. Now, one of the most popular areas in Auburn is going to be the American River. And I'm going to show it to you on a map here real quick. So if you're looking for a place to kind of hang out, whether you're visiting just for a day or want to come up here for possibly a long weekend, we're going to be going from kind of like the central Auburn area off of Highway 80. We're going to get onto Highway 49. And this is a long loopy road right down basically into a canyon. And this area right here is basically called the Confluence area. Now, right in here, as you can see, there's a lot of trails, and it's a beautiful part of the American River. In fact, the American River, there's two streams that kind of collide right here and kind of goes down. But all along this area, whether you're hiking, mountain biking, if you're a mountain bike enthusiast, there's a lot of trails even outside this region right here. A lot of kind of state park, California ran trails as well. And I would also recommend that if you don't have it yet, get the California State Pass. That'll save you a bunch of money for future, but it's also going to be a lot easier to park in areas like this. And we have a lot of state parks in this area. But in this area, you can also go on a few different trails. You can go along the Lake Clementine Trail. There's a huge dam that you can go to, and it's got almost like a waterfall feature. And even around this area, you can also see to the Forest Hill Bridge, or the famous green bridge that's noted in the XXX movie with Vin Diesel. So it's a really tall bridge. I believe it's one of the tallest in California, and I believe the 4th tallest in the United States, and that's according to Google, so you know it's got to be correct. Now, another area I'd consider if you're looking just to kind of get outdoors in the Auburn area is going to be Hidden Falls, and that's going to be a regional park with over 30 plus miles of trails. So whether you're into mountain biking, hiking, or just want to go for a nice walk with the family, it's got all types of levels there. So there's some easier trails, some harder trails, but it's a beautiful area, and it's even got a river running through there. So it really is a beautiful area if you want to go and hang out there. Okay, so let's say hiking is not your thing, but you're maybe more of a person who loves the golf course. Now, I recently just got into golfing myself, so I'm still learning about the best golf courses outside the Sacramento region, but I can tell you the ones that I'm about to mention are highly recognized amongst golfers here in the Sacramento region. Now, the first one I'm going to mention is going to be Dark Horse. Now, even though I mentioned it earlier as far as communities to live in, this is really a notable golf course that if you want to get out there, get on the greens, this is going to be a beautiful one to visit. Now, the second one is going to be The Ridge, and this is going to be a premium golf course that I hear all the time from my friends, and they say that this is one of the better golf courses outside the Sacramento region. So that's another one to check out. And number 3 is going to be the Lake of the Pines golf course. Now, this one is going to be exclusive to members and it's private, but if you are going to be living in that community, that would be a great one to check out as well. And stay tuned, because as my golf game gets better, I will be reviewing more golf courses on the channel as well. All right, so let's talk about shopping and day-to-day living. If you're gonna be going to like your banks, retail stores, dining, all that kind of basic stuff on day-to-day living, it's really gonna be in the North Auburn region. That's been a little bit more developing for the retail side. So places like Chick-fil-A, In-N-Out on the way there. You have Home Depot, and of course, my wife's favorite, Target. All of these stores, there's really a ton of shopping right there, and it's gonna be right off Highway 49 going north past North Auburn. Now, when it comes to more like boutique shopping or antique shopping and just kind of window shopping, if you will, that's going to be more in the downtown or Old Town Auburn part. And also, that's got one of our favorite cafes, Poor Choice, as we've probably mentioned before, and it's a great place to hang out. Not to mention, one of my favorite places to eat in Auburn is Iketa's Pies, or some call it Iketa's Pies. I could be saying it wrong, but I've been going there for years, and I absolutely love that place. If you're looking for fresh baked pies, make sure to get it a la mode style with ice cream on top. And if you're really hungry, make sure to try out their burgers and sandwiches because they are fantastic. But also next door, they have a lot of fresh produce and a little market right there. So if you want to check that out, I highly recommend them. Now, to switch gears here a little bit, if you are someone who's got kids or you're thinking about the school districts, Auburn is served by a few different school districts. You have the Placer Union and the Auburn Union School District. Now, what I recommend to a lot of people, if you're going to be specific on the schools, is make sure to check out online resources like greatschools.org to check out different ratings for different schools. And if you are someone who's looking for a new and developing area, when it comes to new construction homes, Auburn doesn't have a ton going on with new developments. And what I mean by that is there's not really a lot of large builders coming in and building, let's say 50, 100, or 200 homes like they do closer to the Sacramento region. But if you are looking for maybe a new luxury home, there are builders in our area and local builders that are buying maybe 1, 2, or a few lots and building luxury homes. So if you're going to be looking in that $1 million or more price point, I do see those homes come up here and there, and you can keep an eye out on those as well. Now, I hope you're still sticking around and enjoying Auburn and all that it has to offer. And you're probably thinking, wow, this is a beautiful place to live. But I did want to give you some things that you may want to know before moving into a more rural area like this. And the first one is this: wildlife out here is abundant. It's very normal to see deer, turkeys, possibly a coyote, or even a fox. So if you are someone who's not as comfortable with that wildlife experience, this may not be the place for you. On that note, some people would absolutely love to see those types of animals walking around their yard or in the perimeter of their area. So if you like that, you're definitely going to see some wildlife here. And number two is this: a lot of the homes here tend to be on slopes or hills. It really is the beginning of the foothills and foothills living, so you kind of have to take that into consideration. Of course, there are more flat properties and flat land, but just consider that a lot of the neighborhoods tend to have some slopes, maybe even steep driveways. So if that's not suitable for you, just make sure you know what you're looking out for. And the third one is this: utilities. PG&E is a common provider here, so when it comes to gas and electricity, it may be a little bit more expensive. Some other things to consider is some of the properties here may be running on propane tanks, septic systems, and even have well water. So even though that may not be a big deal, it's just some things you may want to consider just depending on the specific type of property you're buying. Number four is going to be in the insurance. And if you haven't heard it yet, in California, we're having a tough time with insurance depending on the area that you're buying in. This being in a foothills area, considered more of a wildfire risk area, your premiums can be a lot higher depending on the area that you buy in. This is why we always recommend to get a few different quotes on a property to make sure that you're getting a reasonable premium on that home. Another thing to note is going to be the internet. Depending on how far out you're going to be living, internet services may be a little bit slower or even hard to get in rural areas. And last but not least, Highway 49. Highway 49 can get a little bit busy and congested during traffic hours, so that's something you're going to want to consider if you're going to be looking at moving into Auburn. All right, so now that I've given you all the negatives of why you probably wouldn't want to move into Auburn, let's at least review some of the pricing so you know what you're getting into. Now, as of this last month, the average sold price came in at $720,000 in Auburn. The median sold price came in at about $700,000. Now, even though this is kind of the pricing on paper, the pricing can definitely vary depending on proximity to town, whether you're getting acreage, size of the home, when the home was built, and of course, just the neighborhood. So pricing can definitely vary. And I would say if you're going to be looking at moving into Auburn, your typical single family home is going to be starting closer to the 500s and well up to the $1 million or more mark, depending on the type of area you want to live in. So it could definitely be more on the affordable range or well into the luxury market. Well, there you have it, a full review of Auburn, California. Well, I hope you got some value out of this video, and I hope you learned something new about this beautiful place outside the Sacramento region. If you'd like to know more about Auburn, we actually did a video on this not too long ago. This is where me and my wife review some of the different communities and areas throughout Auburn. It's a little bit of a different style than this one. Make sure to check that out. I'll link it right there down below. And if you guys did enjoy the video, make sure to let me know in the comments down below or give it a thumbs up. My name is Sam Galovy. I'm your relocation guide here in the Sacramento region. If you ever need any help with buying, selling, or investing in the Sacramento region, this is what my team and I specialize in. You could always reach out to us. Our information is right there in the description. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you on the next one.